Western military engineers, working in climate-controlled labs in Stuttgart, Detroit, and Leeds, envisioned the Leopard 2, M1 Abrams, and Challenger 2 as tools for high-mobility breakthrough operations across Europe's open plains. They pictured massive, armored formations smashing through Soviet defensive lines, tank duels at 2,000 meters, and combined arms maneuvers where infantry supported tanks, not the other way around. They never imagined tanks hiding in barns. They didn't foresee inflatable decoys forcing adversaries to waste millions of dollars in munitions. Nor did they picture 70-ton behemoths serving as mobile pillboxes to draw fire from drones, while BMP infantry fighting vehicles delivered the real attacks. Comment number 2 if you support Ukraine, number 3 if you support Russia, and number 4 if you love peace. However, after losing more than 1,200 tanks since February 2022, 859 destroyed, 79 damaged, 98 abandoned, and 146 captured, per Oryx's visually confirmed tallies, Ukrainian tank crews abandoned NATO doctrine and began crafting their own tactics. Western tanks, engineered for Cold War scenarios, now fight in a 21st-century drone-saturated war with methods that would astonish even Rommel, leaving Pentagon planners both horrified and impressed. Stealth over mobility, ambush over breakthrough, decoy over armor, survival through adaptation. This isn't failure. It's brutal yet remarkable battlefield innovation, forcing doctrine to evolve faster than any defense contractor's PowerPoint briefing. NATO learns more from Ukraine's improvisation than from 40 years of peacetime R&D. If you want to witness real war rewriting military manuals in ways no field manual could predict, follow and turn on notifications. This is doctrine being rewritten under fire.
Consider why Western tanks arrived with instructions no one could follow. When 31 M1 Abrams rolled in during September 2023, 14 Challenger 2s docked in March 2023, and over 100 Leopard 2s from various donors deployed throughout 2023, NATO training stressed breakthrough operations. As Breaking Defense analyzed, Soviet-origin modern designs weigh 38 to 48 tons with 125mm smoothbore guns, while Western tanks tip 60 to 70 tons with 120mm guns, superior optics, and crew protection systems. The assumption was technological superiority plus NATO doctrine would dominate the battlefield. Ukrainian crews trained at Grafenwohr in Germany, Fort Benning in Georgia, U.S., and British facilities on maneuver tactics, tank companies leading assaults, backed by mechanized infantry, exploiting breakthroughs with speed and shifting to mobile defense as needed.
Yet the 2023 counteroffensive at Rabatino tested that doctrine disastrously. Leopard 2 spearheaded NATO-scripted attacks, only to be shredded by Ka-52 helicopters, Kornet anti-tank missiles, artillery barrages, and Russian FPV drone swarms. By August 2025, National Security Journal reporting, just 4 of the original 31 M1A1 Abrams remained operational as of June 2025. Challenger 2s fared similarly, rated alongside Abrams as among the least effective Western tanks in the entire conflict based on survival rates. The issue isn't the tanks. German engineers built world-class armor. American engineers crafted advanced fire control. British engineers delivered exceptional accuracy. The problem is doctrine, written for Cold War battlefields, where drones didn't exist, artillery couldn't track every move via pervasive surveillance, and mines weren't the dominant area denial weapon. Per a May 2025 Forbes report, after losing over 1,000 tanks, Ukrainian forces conducted a major tactical overhaul. The new reality? Tank crews must exercise extreme caution, hiding vehicles in barns, garages, or dedicated bunkers, emerging briefly to strike before racing back to cover. This inverts NATO doctrine.
This is survival doctrine written in blood. The U.S. M1A1 Abrams was designed as a Cold War spearhead, leading armored thrusts, engaging Soviet T-72s on open terrain, exploiting breakthroughs at top-governed speeds of about 42 miles per hour, and with a 1,500 horsepower turbine engine. Ukrainian crews discarded those manuals. By December 2025, when 49 Australian M1A1s reinforced earlier U.S. deliveries, Ukraine's doctrine coalesced around a shield and hammer approach. Abrams advanced to draw Russian drone attention, suppress firing points with 120mm main gun fire, absorb attacks while BMPs carrying infantry push forward under their cover. Euro Maiden Press analysis of Pokrovsk operations noted, the primary mission of tanks is to suppress Russian firing points, attract enemy drone attention, and create corridors for Ukrainian BMPs to advance. This reverses U.S. combined arms doctrine, where tanks lead and infantry supports.
Ukraine's doctrine turns tanks into support assets, essentially heavy armored bullet magnets that draw expensive anti-tank missiles away from vulnerable infantry. The genius? One Abrams lures 10 Cornets, each costing $30,000 to $40,000. That same Abrams upgraded battlefield with explosive reactive armor, ERA, anti-drone jammers, and welded-on plates by Ukrainian mechanics often survives hits. True survival nears 100% even when the tank is knocked out, thanks to isolated ammo storage and NATO-designed crew compartment protection. Per 1945 military analysis, this usage yields strategic gains by exploiting defender vulnerabilities during Ukraine's Kurs offensive. The August 2024 incursion, first control of Russian territory since World War II, succeeded partly because Abrams identified weak points, then acted as mobile fortresses supporting infantry assaults.
Die German Leopard 2 Designer picturten Panzerdivisionen manövrierend über deutsches Landinterieur gegen Warschauer Pakt mechanisierte Attacken mit überlegenem Optik, Stabilisierung und Fire-on-the-Move Capability. Ukrainische Crews turnten sie in Ambush Predators, ermorgen aus Verborgenheit, delivieren sorgische Strikes, dann verschwinden, bevor russische Artillerie reagiert. Der May 2025 Pokrovsk Engagement exemplifizierte matürte Doktrin. Eine russische Kolonne von 5 Turtle-Tanks mit improvisierten Cope Cages plus BMPs advanceden durch eine Settlement, confident der Cages würden ukrainische Drones defeaten.
Per National Security Journal, one Leopard 2 from Ukraine's 33rd Independent Mechanized Brigade hid inside a building, using the structure for cover, while thermal optics tracked the column entering the kill zone. The Leopard emerged for roughly 90 seconds. Precise main gun shots destroyed 5 armored vehicles, including multiple turtle tanks. Some were hit multiple times, leading to the entire column's destruction, per Ozuf Hortizia's Telegram channel. The Leopard then slipped back into hiding before Russian counter-battery fire arrived. This isn't breakthrough tactics. This is apex predator tactics. Concealment, patience, overwhelming violence, immediate withdrawal. Forbes analysis notes Ukraine's Leopard doctrine, stresses hiding vehicles in barns, garages, or dedicated bunkers, because Russian drone surveillance fields 1,300–2,000 units monthly, often swarming to overwhelm Ukrainian air defenses.
British Challenger 2 designers built what the Ministry of Defense proudly called a sniper rifle, a rifled 120mm gun delivering unmatched long-range accuracy. Ukrainian crews confirmed this in training. Accuracy is truly outstanding. Battlefield reality delivered a harsh blow. A sniper rifle helps little when Russian drones attack from all directions. By June 2025, National Security Journal reported few of the original 14 Challengers remained operational, devastating loss rates akin to Abrams. Surviving Challenger crews adapted. Hera,
commander from the 82nd Air Assault Brigade, described the evolution. Treat Challenger truly as a sniper rifle. Engage enemy targets from long range. Fire calmly from concealment, then withdraw. Hera's crew's 5,300-meter kill of a Russian BMP, over 3.3 miles, validated the sniper concept.
But that's the exception. Most Challenger employment shifted to defensive ambushes, positioned in hiding, using superior optics to spot first, striking with precision fire, withdrawing before Russian drones fix the position. Crew interviews note the unique rifled L-30A1 120mm, distinct among NATO smoothbores, offers extreme range accuracy, but requires specialized ammo incompatible with Leopard or Abrams. This creates logistical nightmares. Ukrainian crews adapted by reserving Challengers for long-range precision strikes, where rifling excels, while leaning on greater numbers of Leopard and Abrams for close-range ambushes. Perhaps the most revolutionary, unforeseen innovation is sophisticated inflatable decoys mimicking thermal signatures, radar returns, and visuals convincingly enough to make Russian forces waste millions of dollars, destroying $1,500 targets. Per a January 2025 Bulgarian military report, Ukraine's Inflatech, originally making toys and custom models, shifted to military-grade decoys. Strategic impact? Reports indicate Russian forces sometimes destroy up to 140% of HIMARS received by Ukraine, meaning Russian commanders claim more U.S. rocket systems knocked out than delivered because they're firing at inflatables, while real HIMARS hide elsewhere. Lock the Western tanks. This creates insoluble tactical problems for Russian forces. When a $3 million Russian Iskander ballistic missile obliterates what recon drones identify as a Leopard 2A6, but is actually an inflatable decoy, $1,500, Ukraine achieves a 2,999-to-1 cost-effectiveness ratio. Defense analysis notes these decoys contribute to information warfare, sowing confusion that disrupts enemy strategic planning and tactical decisions. If Russian commanders believe they've destroyed 50 Western tanks, but Ukraine still feels 100 operational, Russian anti-tank resource allocation falters, underestimating Ukrainian armor and walking into ambushes assuming Ukrainian tank strength is depleted.
Western defense officials initially feared Ukrainian crews couldn't maintain complex NATO platforms. The M1 Abrams guzzles aviation fuel at roughly 1.5 gallons per mile. Then Assistant Secretary of Defense Laura Cooper warned Abrams tanks, besides being fuel hogs, are very hard to maintain. Leopard 2 demands specialized tools, training, computer diagnostics. Challenger 2's rifled gun requires unique barrel maintenance. Ukrainian mechanics proved everyone wrong. Per sustainment reports from Pokrovsk and Kursk, Ukrainian forces keep Leopard, Abrams and Challenger running at forward positions. No backhauling to Poland or Germany. Repairs happen on-site with makeshift workshops, scavenged tools, and mechanics mastering complex systems through urgent necessity rather than formal training. The 425th Scala Regiment fielded Australian Abrams immediately after December 2025 receipt, proving efficient logistics. Euromaidan Press, outstanding logistics and road preparation let Ukrainians avoid delays and unleash devastating fire instantly. Most nations take months to integrate new platforms. Ukrainian crews shift from delivery to combat in weeks.
So why does Ukraine employ Western tanks in ways no one anticipated? No one foresaw a drone-saturated war where every tank move is tracked. $500 FPV kamikaze drones hunt $8 million Leopards. Russian artillery responds in minutes to any exposed position. Mines blanket approaches so densely that breakthrough campaigns become suicidal. NATO doctrine assumes air superiority, suppressed enemy artillery, reconnaissance advantage, breakthrough opportunities. Ukraine operates without air dominance, under constant artillery threat, facing surveillance disadvantage, rarely finding breakthrough chances. Their adaptation? Concealment-based ambush tactics, decoys wasting Russian munitions, shield and hammer protecting infantry, forward maintenance sustaining ops, complete abandonment of NATO breakthrough doctrine for defensive survival-focused operations. This isn't failure. It's the harsh reality of real war forcing adaptation, and it's working. Per Commander-in-Chief Syrskyi, Ukrainian forces destroyed 1,159 Russian tanks and over 2,500 armored vehicles in 2025 alone, despite unimaginable disadvantages. Western tanks aren't performing as designed. They're performing better because Ukrainian crews ignored design guidance and rewrote the manual with blood and diesel smoke. Do you think Ukraine's improvised tank doctrine will become NATO's new standard? Share your thoughts. Comment number 2 if you support Ukraine, number 3 if you support Russia, and number 4 if you love peace.